The Sabonic Index team attended the latest marijuana expo in Las Vegas and asked industry experts about the future outlook for the marijuana industry in 2016. Let's see what they had to say.
The future of cannabis in 2016, wow, that's a very tough question. We're going to see more and more states come on. I think right now we're at 23, 24 states that are medically approved. I think we'll probably see more and more states come on, and hopefully Obama may do something on his way out and basically bless us with a national program here. So that's kind of what we're hoping to see, but who knows?
I think it's looking good. I think we're seeing robust development in terms of recreational initiatives. We're seeing more medical initiatives come online. We're seeing development at the federal level, whether they're going to do something with 280E, which would free up lots of great business deductions for everybody. It's a real racehorse to see what's going to happen with the presidency. I think marijuana is going to be a big discussion in the debates. It's a great way to get capital investment and money generated back for Americans, and it's medicine, right? We want to get medicine to the people that need it and deserve it and can use it. So I'm excited for 2016.
I think the cannabis industry in 2016 is going to continue to explode even more. And here's my reason behind it. I'm located in New Jersey. The tri-state area is still a little taboo when it comes to cannabis, but once you leave that area, everyone knows this is a modern day gold rush. There's so many opportunities out there, and conferences like this that we're attending, as well as different shows that are out there, is really making the cannabis industry more legitimized. And to see the testing lab sector really grow and blossom, say, hey, it's a drug, it needs to be tested, well, let's take care of that. So I think it's a great opportunity for so many people. I think it's gonna grow even more. And just great comparison is this, a year ago today, from where the cannabis industry used to be to where it is now, it's night and day. It's become a lot more legitimized, and a lot more people aren't frowning upon it. They're rather saying, how can I get involved with this now?
Legal cannabis is the fastest growing market in the United States. The market is expected to experience an additional 20% growth in 2016, according to researchers from the ArcView Group.
Well, I think the cannabis industry is going to be facing a major shift. You have the kind of cannabis culture that already exists in the states where things are legal, and you have the culture that's starting to open their eyes to cannabis as stigmas remove themselves and as more research comes out. So I think you're going to have a patient-focused market with people that are unfamiliar with the cannabis industry completely, that are going to need to be educated and brought in and, made aware of all the benefits that cannabis has to offer. And I think that group of people is very different from the current group of cannabis users throughout the country. They've kind of been forced into a subculture status by the nature of the cannabis itself. So what we're going to start seeing is the larger market becoming more open to the idea of cannabis, and at that point there are going to need to be products and brands that speak to people in a way that they're used to being spoken to by regular brands, and the companies that are in our space that can do that more effectively are the ones that are going to succeed, and the ones that are not able to do that effectively are not going to be able to make the transition.
I mean, I think it's huge. If you look around, I mean, it's the biggest industry in the world probably right now, not just America or California or any of the states that are recreational or medical. It's really interesting for me to be a part of something like this because you just see a wide swath of different people that are involved. Everyone from banking and capital to insurance to different types of supplies, inventory, software. It's amazing, and I mean, I know this has been happening for a while, but we've seemed to reach a critical mass right now. The tides are turning, everyone's excited and smiling, and it's a good place to, do business.
Our outlook is that it's going to continue to grow. We're looking forward to seeing what happens in California. But right now, for us, the most important thing is the adoption rate of LEDs, which has really picked up steam in the last year to 6 months. And so for us, the growth is astronomical at this point. Everybody's finally making the move from HPS over to LED based on the savings, both energy as well as the help in the environment with less heavy metals going into the landfills.
A report by Bank of America Merrill Lynch suggests that medical cannabis gross revenue has the potential to reach $35 billion if all 50 states achieve legalization by 2020.
It's going to go nowhere but up. I think we're going to see probably 4 more states go medical, and I think we may see up to 6 states go recreational in 2016. But the real nugget will be California. It's really going to be a game changer when California gets all the regulations in place.
Well, I see the industry maturing, and I also see a lot more larger companies moving into the industry, and I see a lot of disputes growing within the industry. And again, what we're trying to do is make the industry more respectable, give it a way to solve disputes without essentially airing the dirty laundry in public. But I do see the industry maturing and becoming essentially a mainstream commodity. And in fact, beyond 2016, I see the industry becoming very, very much mainstream to where cannabis is just another commodity that's traded like coffee beans or wheat or whatever.
Well, we've decided to hitch our cart to a grow industry. We feel that it's only upwards for here. Of course, there'll be fits and spurts. A lot of the press likes to look at the failure of the measure to pass in Colorado as a negative, but I just think it was a bad measure, and the voters saw a bad measure and voted it down. I don't think that is a bellwether of what's to come. I really think what's come is the end of cannabis prohibition. I think it's going to happen sooner than later.
23 states have already legalized cannabis for medical use, and by the end of 2016, 2 more states are expected to pass their own medical legalization measures, Florida and Pennsylvania.
2016, I think we've seen it happen. You look at Colorado and what's happened in the last year and a half of legalization, and I think Oregon's laws are very similar. So the biggest question in 2016 is how compliant California is going to be. And you got to realize Colorado's market could fit inside the county of LA. So if a real licensing process statewide happens in California, our legal marijuana market could, 20 times in size. So it's all dependent upon that. If California stays like they are, I think we're going to see new states adopting the Colorado, Oregon, Washington rule book, and they're going to see what works out of each of them and put it together. We just saw Maryland's license process, and it's different than anybody else's. So I think the evolution of the marijuana space depends on who's elected president, what happens in California, or if it's just like it's going to be now, we're going to see slow and steady.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Thank you for your time.
I shouldn't say slow and steady as a market, but slow and steady as a state.
My intuition tells me that we'll have a little bit of the Empire Strikes Back. That's what I'm suggesting we should be prepared for. Who knows how the political winds are going to change, but now that the FDA is involved in the conversation, where prior it was just the DEA, I encourage fellow cannabis entrepreneurs to learn more about the Food Drug Safety Cosmetic Act, to get FDA lawyers, and to learn a little bit more about what it takes to make products that are consumed with the intended outcome of being better health.
2016 beyond? That's a really great question. If the government deregulates it, the medicinal side will take off. You're going to look at a lot of new cures that are publicized widely because of cannabinoids. And I'm really excited because I've lost several people to cancer. And I know cannabinoids help, right? So that's the reason I like to see that deregulated. Where I see it without deregulation go is I see states getting greedy for tax revenue. I see Colorado being a great example of what you can possibly gain in tax revenue. And Oregon, Washington, California, Maine, Massachusetts, they're all trying to figure out that system of how to regulate it so they can capture that tax revenue. And once that tax revenue is in place, nobody's going to be able to take away from them. So that's without deregulation. So I see more and more states jumping on that bandwagon as it goes.
Legal cannabis will continue to affect a variety of tourism-related industry sectors in 2016. A recent market research survey reveals that 49% of Colorado tourists say that legal cannabis had an effect on their decision to visit. That does it for this one. Thanks for watching.